Dear Elijah and Elena, pick your spots. Let me say it louder for the people in the back. Pick your spots. Different situations call for different responses or actions. I say this because I was reminded of when I was a child growing up in Selma, Alabama, before I left in '93, and basically really never went back. I would go visit my mother, but didn't stay long during the summers. And I just remember, I was basically taught to fend for myself. So if somebody was to try to put their hands on me, or try to start a fight with me or whatever, or somebody tried to start a fight with one of my cousins, because I didn't have any brothers or sisters at this time. It was just me and a bunch of cousins. I'm not going to use any more harsh words or words that might be offend someone, but I was basically raised to not be a sissy, to not be a punk, right? And I was basically taught that I had to fight, right? So if somebody pushed me or put their hands on me, yelled at me, cursed at me, whatever it was, whatever little boy did to me, best believe he better had been given knuckle sandwiches, right? And if I didn't give it to him, my mother was going to get on my butt. My mother didn't play. None of her sisters play. All of her brothers were basically gone, I think. But my grandmother didn't play. Their mother didn't play. Like the girls in their family, this is the Davis Buford group, Selma, Alabama. They didn't play. It was a huge number of them. And it's like 12 kids, I think. It was like all 4 or 5 of these girls were still in Selma around this time. This is late 80s, early 90s. And we were taught to fight. Like, you didn't start it, as the old school saying goes. You didn't start it, but you finished it. And so, like I said, we weren't taught to be that. Now, my father, on the other hand, was try to be more of a peaceful person. But I heard from some people that my father, he grew up poor. He had an older brother, and him and his older brother were known for being tough guys. They didn't get into fights, as far as I was told. His older brother, I think, kind of fought, maybe for the rest of them. But my dad was really strong when he was young, so I don't think a lot of people tried him. He was very serious. He was kind of known as a tough guy without having to necessarily use his fists a lot, if I remember correctly. And he's very intelligent, so I think he's able to probably talk his way through a lot of stuff, maybe. I could be wrong. Some of his family members probably could say otherwise. So my mother, like I said, was like, use your hands. I'll come down to the school and settle everything with the principal if I need to, but you better fight. And my dad was like, don't fight, use your noggin, okay? Well, that's the thing. And my father's my father. He's a man. So, I mean, I think at the same time he would say, if somebody's trying to beat you up or harm you, know how to defend yourself. I mean, I did do a little martial arts as a child. I was not very good at it either. So anyway, my whole point being is that the thing I want to pass on to my children is I hope to one day get them into martial arts. Hopefully kind of thicken my son's skin a little bit. And my daughter as well. She's kind of a little bit rough and tougher than he is. And I think she needs to burn out some of that energy. So the thing is for me though, is that the thing I did learn as the older I got, I was fortunate that I never had to get into too many fights, too many fist fights anyway. And the thing I did grow up and understand though is that there different situations call for different things. So though I would hope my children never have to get into any kind of fight, I do want them to be able to defend themselves, but I do want them to know that there are times when you can talk yourself out of a situation. One, I don't want them to be the one to start it. I don't want them to be doing anything stupid to initiate a confrontation. So I want to make sure that as my child grows up, especially my son, my daughter too, to keep your hands to yourself. Don't go around touching people inappropriately and things like that. Daddy was not the best at that. So, fortunately I never got in any fights over that, but I came close to it. Also, I was trying to be things that I wasn't in high school, so I came close to getting in fights for that too. We'll talk about that maybe in another video. So the point being is that, to not initiate things, but to be able to go and try to say, if somebody's trying to start a fight with you, to say, hey, listen, is there a problem? That way we can, to reason this out with speaking with one another as opposed to putting our hands on one another. And you might get made fun of because of that. Some people think you're soft if you don't automatically fight. But that's not always the case. Sometimes it's just best to just handle a situation without fighting. I actually almost came to blows with a guy who ended up becoming my best friend in middle school. So, there's that for thought. But also to remember, too, that there are times when some people may try to put their hands on you and you may not have any other choice but to defend yourself. So think quickly, but also know that not every situation calls for violence. Thanks.